Well, good day, everybody. Craig back at you out today on the 2023 BMW R1250 GSA. And what I wanted to talk about during this video was kind of give you my take on why I picked the BMW over the Harley Davidson Pan America Special and over the Ducati Multistrada. Now I have to say, even though I always had an affinity for the BMW, it was not my only option. I wanted to get the BMW, I liked it, but like doing any kind of good research, you look and see what else is out there. And what I saw was the Harley Davidson, and I also saw the Multistrada, the Ducati. So I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about each bike and ultimately why I decided to go with the BMW. So let me start by saying this is not going to be a video where I'm slamming the Harley or I'm slamming the Ducati. To be perfectly honest, it was a very, very close decision. I mean, it was that close between the bikes. So let me start talking about the Harley Davidson Pan America Special, their adventure bike, and the pros and the cons that I saw from that bike. So first off, what I liked about the Harley is, to me, it was the best looking bike out of the three. I do not think that adventure bikes are good looking bikes by any stretch of the imagination. They're just not. I mean, they're functional, they're nice to ride, but they're not winning any competitions in any bike shows about how good they look. They're just not, a great looking bike. Even this bike, which I like, the BMW, it's got that beak on the front. So when I looked at the Harley, just for me personally, I liked the styling of the Pan America over the other two. So that was a plus for the Harley. Second thing that I liked about the Harley was the engine. That V-twin engine, I think it's a 1200. It seems to make a lot of torque. It's a smooth engine. It can go. There's a lot of punch on that bike. So you're not lacking for power at all when you buy that bike. The third thing that I liked about the Harley was the dealer network. Naturally, Harley Davidson's dealer network is huge. So if you ever have issues, if you're traveling, if you're using that bike to tour, you don't really have to worry too much about being able to find a dealer in the case you need service. The fourth thing that I liked about the Harley was the price. I mean, I think that the Harley Davidson is competitively priced in the market. It doesn't seem to have that Harley tax like we always talk about with every Harley Davidson you buy. It could just, thousands and thousands of dollars over the competition. It seemed reasonably priced, so I thought that was a plus and a good advantage for Harley when they're entering into this market. Again, it caught my attention. Another positive for the Harley, from what I understand, and those of you that own the Pan America can put this in the comments, I think the bike now does come with a quick shifter. I don't think it had it originally when the bike first came out, but I think they've added that, so that's a positive. And from the videos I've seen, I've never used the quick shifter on the Harley, but it seems like everyone seems to be pretty happy with it and how it works. Last positive before I move to the negatives is that I think the fit and finish, or the Harley paint, I just think they do it better than any other motorcycle manufacturer out there. Their paint is really nice. It just looks good. Way better than a lot of the competition. So now let's talk about some of the drawbacks to the Pan America. One thing I don't like is I don't like that it's chain driven. I just think in this category, and with the amount of money you are spending, even though it's competitive, I would like a shaft drive or a belt drive, but preferably a shaft drive. I don't think that if you're going to use this bike for touring, even if you take it off-road, you're an off-road person on the bike, that you have to do all the chain cleaning and maintenance of the chain. It's a pain in the butt. Who wants to do that? Second negative on the Pan America, they got something funky going on with their kickstand. Their kickstand is it's not great. I've seen a bunch of people that replaced it, and then it seems like the kickstand interferes with the center stand. I don't know what the designers were thinking of, just poorly thought out. So again, not a major thing, but when you're looking at, hey, pluses and minuses, there's something weird about that kickstand that they got on that Harley. Third thing I dislike about the Pan America that I've seen is that even though I don't plan on going off-roading, if you are going to off-road with the bike, it seems like it needs additional protection. I've seen videos where people have had to order an aftermarket skid plate because the skid plate that comes with it doesn't protect enough of the undercarriage of the bike, and some radiator protectors and things like that. So just in my opinion, if you are going to go off-roading, you have to come out of pocket and buy some extra things. And then another negative to the Harley, and it really probably is not a fair comparison, the Pan America to the GSA. It really probably should be the Pan America to the GS. You have to, if you're going to add any type of bags or anything like that, you might have to buy additional brackets. Depending on what type of pannier system you go with, you're going to have to buy some brackets because there's not mounting places to it. And another thing that drew me away from the Pan America was that in reading a lot of the comments and looking online, and I know that can be the death of things when you start looking at everybody else's comments, but it seems like the Pan America throws a lot of error faults, a lot of error codes, and a lot of people were taking their bikes back to the dealership because they're getting these error codes all of the time. And some of the things that I read, I guess a lot of them don't affect the performance of the bike. So they're like, hey, don't even worry about it, just ride it. You know, take it in for the next service and they'll clear the codes. But again, I think if you're buying a bike, you don't want to have to deal with all types of error codes all the time. So let's talk about the Ducati Multistrada. Let's move on to that. Well, positives, it's a Ducati. It's a great Italian-made bike, engineering, top-of-the-line stuff, great engine. Really, it really is just phenomenal. Again, no complaints as far as the power. I think out of the three bikes, it has the most power. So you're not going to be lacking for some get up and go and some punch when you hit the throttle on that Ducati Multistrada. Second positive for the Ducati, at least the version that I saw. The version that I saw at my local dealer came with panniers. So that's a nice thing. The panniers, were color matched to the bike, so it looked pretty good. Most of these adventure bikes don't come with panniers, so that's something you're going to have to add after the fact. So that can be an expense, but from the one that I saw came with it. No top box, so you probably have to add that, but the panniers were there, so that's a great plus to have when you're buying the bike. Third plus for the Ducati Multistrada, the technology. The Multistrada comes with the adaptive cruise control with the radar, so if you're doing, again, long distance and you have that adaptive cruise control, it works the same way it works in your car where you set the cruise control and adjust the speed of the motorcycle based on what's in front of you. Great technology. I think that should be on the BMW, which it isn't. Maybe the new BMW will have it. It should be on the Harley. That should be just a standard thing. And the next positive for the Ducati, and this is kind of an anecdotal thing, but there's some value to it. By owning a Ducati, you get that Ducati mystique. Whether that's good or bad, when you tell people you have a Ducati, it's just like, what, you got a Ducati? And then they have 50 million questions for you. So you become part of that exclusive, I guess, group of Ducati owners. So you got that going for you. So let me tell you some things I didn't like about the Ducati, some negatives. First off, I talked about the saddlebags that came with the Ducati, which was a positive, but I'm also going to put it in the negative column. The reason I say that, it's nice that you get them. It's nice that they're color matched, but they're very, very small. They're very small. So when you are touring and you're going places, you're still going to have to find luggage solutions because you're not going to be able to fit a lot into those panniers. Another negative about the Ducati, the price. The Ducati was about $4,000 more than the GS Adventure. And while I like the Ducati, and again, I was looking at it, I just didn't personally feel it was $4,000 better of a bike. So you Ducati owners, you might disagree. I'm sure you do disagree. But that's just my thoughts. I wasn't willing to pay the extra $4,000 to get into that bike. The next negative for Ducati comes back to the dealership network. The BMW dealership network is small. I think the Ducati dealership network is even smaller than that. So again, I have a Ducati dealer where I live, but if I'm going touring and something happens and that bike needs to go in the shop, who knows how close the closest Ducati dealership is. I think that's a negative that you have to take into account. Next negative for the Ducati. All right, the Ducati is just plain ugly. It's an ugly bike, and I already said that adventure bikes, for the most part, are all ugly. But the Multistrada is a special type of ugly. There's just nothing that I look at that bike, other than the words Ducati on it. There's nothing about that bike that I say, hey, I like that. I like that sharp looking. That's this. That's that. There's really, to me, it's just an ugly bike. I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but that's just my take on it. The next negative is the paint. I don't want to say fit and finish, but I've looked at a couple of Ducatis, and the paint is just bland. Like the one I was looking at was like a whitish color. It was a white Ducati Multistrada. Now, I have a white gold wing, and if you're going to buy a white bike, there's got to be some type of metallic flake. White, it has to pop if you're going to get a white bike. Even black. If you're going to get a black, you need some kind of flake in it to make it pop. It's just a boring color. I didn't see that at all in the Ducati. It just was a boring color scheme. And so my last negative for the Ducati, it seems like Ducati owners, your bikes are always in the shop. They're always at the dealer, even the new ones. There's always something wrong with it, and it's always at the dealer, and you spend more time with your bike being there than you riding it. But it seems like Ducatis, they go into the shop, and then their owners have to wait forever for parts. It's like you put it in, there was a problem, and you're waiting 3 months for the part to come from Italy so that the bike can be fixed. So now let's talk about my BMW, the positives and the negatives. Let's start with the positives. To me, it's the BMW for adventure bikes. The R1250 set the standard. It is the gold standard. I'm not saying it's the best, but it seems to be the bike that everyone copies, the bike that everybody's trying to get close to. Okay, next positive about the BMW, I think it's competitively priced. I think that although none of these adventure bikes are inexpensive, you get a decent amount for what you pay for with the BMW. And so I think if you get one, I was able to get a little bit, every dealer's different, but I was able to get a little bit off of this bike when I went to buy it, and I bought it in the height of the popularity of, the demand. So I think for what you get, again, with the GSA, you're getting the racks, you're getting everything, you're getting the larger gas tank. So for the price that I paid, for example, the price I paid for my GSA was $300 more than what the Pan America Special cost from what the dealer was charging. And I'd have to say, for the money, I got more for my dollar going with the BMW. So that's a positive. Another positive for the BMW is the reliability. And doing a lot of the research and looking at a lot of videos from owners and forums, most people have had trouble-free experiences with their BMWs, with the exception of one issue, which I'll talk about on the negative side. But most people have had trouble-free issues with their BMW. Another positive about the BMW is aftermarket accessories. Because the R1250 is such a popular bike, it's almost every aftermarket company has made things for this bike. Made panniers, made bags, made, risers. It's just like, you're not gonna, if you're looking for an aftermarket accessory, the chances are, if you've got a R1250, somebody's already made it for that bike, because it's been around for a long time. Another positive of the BMW, I do like the TFT display. It gives you a lot of information at your fingertips with the Wonder Wheel. So it makes it nice, very easy to read. So let's talk about some of the negatives of this BMW. One of the things that I brought up when I talked about the other bikes as a negative, and with the Harley Davidson being chain driven, also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the Multistrada being chain driven and chain maintenance and all the other stuff. The BMW is final drive driven. There's a final drive. Just trying to think of the term, which is a good thing. I like final drives. I do. But the problem with it is that BMW has had issues with their final drives. And so they had to do a whole recall, I believe, up until this model year 2023, where they were going in and checking them and replacing them. That's a problem. That is, I can't get around it. That's just a problem. So Whereas it's a positive that it has it, the BMW. It's also a negative because BMW specific final drive has had issues in the past. Another negative for the R1250 is the quick shifter. Now, from what I understand, the Harley Davidson, the Pan America quick shifter is great. Multistrada is great. You can quick shift in basically every gear, no problems, it's smooth. Not on this German quick shifter. It's like a half a quick shifter. And what do I mean by that? I think even in the manual, they don't want you using the quick shifter going from neutral to first. They don't want you, well, they don't naturally neutral to first. They don't want you using it going from first to second. You really shouldn't use it going from second to third. I find third to fourth, fourth to fifth, fifth to sixth is okay on upshifting with the quick shifter. For first and second gear, it's very, very clunky. You're just better off pulling in the clutch. Downshifting doesn't seem to be a problem as much, but upshifting, until you reach third gear, don't even bother using the quick shifter, which is just, it's disappointing. Because if you're gonna get a quick shifter, it should be able to work. Another negative on this bike, maintenance. Maintenance can be expensive. Again, maybe I should be a negative across all the board because I know Ducati maintenance can be expensive, Harley maintenance can be expensive. But when you do have to have some work done, you're going to pay a BMW premium for maintenance being done. And lastly, when we're talking about dealers and maintenance, let's talk about another negative. It's the BMW dealer network. It's not huge. It's just not big. The reason that I chose to go with a BMW is that the dealership that I bought it from has an outstanding service department, and they will come 4 hours, because that's where my dealership that I bought it from is, from my house, 4 hours to pick up my bike and take it back to their shop and work on it and then bring it back, and it's no extra charge. Again, if they didn't have that and I had to drive 3.5, 4 hours every time I needed to take the bike in for some kind of service work, maintenance work, I might not have gone with the BMW, but the dealership played a huge role in me deciding to purchase this bike. So that was a lot. I said all that to say this. I'm happy with my purchase. This is why I chose. I thought the positives of the BMW were a little bit more than for what I wanted over the other two bikes. Again, this is not a video to knock those bikes. I really want it to be a video to be informative for some of you that are looking and doing research on what kind of bike you want to get, and kind of give you my take on why I bought what I bought. But if I can honestly say this, no matter which bike you get, if you get the Ducati, if you get the BMW, if you get the Harley, you're going to be happy. Those three are great bikes. So hopefully you're out there, you're looking, you get a bike, or if you already have one, tell me what you got. So I just want to thank everybody for watching the video. Thank you for spending some time. Hopefully you can get out soon and enjoy your bike, enjoy your rides, and hopefully you have beautiful weather where you are. And if you get a chance, please like the video, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and everyone have a blessed day.